Welcome to this Friday's live stream here at Townsend's, and it's already been a pretty crazy day. These guys have been giving me a hard time, but what's new? It's the same thing every day. So behind the camera, are you ready? Behind the camera, Aaron's on the OBS console. Hey. Kyle is in the hot seat figuring out questions, and Ryan, there he is.
Hello.
Ryan is taking care of the, what do you call that?
Keeping John in line.
Keeping me in line. He's stage managing this live stream. First of all, I want to thank the folks that are Patreon supporters. If you want to support us by Patreon, there's a link down in the description section. It is such a help to us when people support us through Patreon. So there's the link down there for that. There's also, you can, Super Chat is probably up and running, right, Aaron? So if you want your comment to kind of pop to the top, Super Chat is running on YouTube here, and
if you want to hear my voice more, you gotta donate.
There you go.
That's how it works.
So you don't have to do it. Anyway,
please don't.
Also, there's a PayPal link down in the description section. That's probably a better way than the super chat, because I'm not even going to get into that. Anyway, so now that we got that out of the way, I super want to thank everyone for, if you participated in the live stream or if you were actually here in the store on Saturday. We had the double live stream with the folks at Jim's Red Pants, the guys who do all the music. You're gonna say, these guys they're faking me out back here. Jim's Red Pants, they do all the music for our cooking episodes, and this is their new CD. It's available on our website. We had the live stream, but it may be at a time in the future when I make those live streams public. But for now, you had to catch it when they were when we ran it. A lot of fun. So thank you guys, especially if you came to the store or if you participated in the live stream. There was a lot of really, really good chat. So thank you so much for that. What's next, Ryan?
We'd like to invite people to sign up on our email list.
Yeah, if you're interested in the products that we have to offer, if you're a reenactor or just somebody who's interested in history, we're working on a lot more products that are, let's say, temporary, here and gone again. Actually, these great ceramic mugs are one of these examples where I thought this was going to be a product in the catalog. We introduced them on the email mailing list. We sold a bunch of them. We went to go and reorder them, and nope, they've been discontinued. So some products will only show up sort of that way in a short period of time. The email mailing list is a great way to find out about those. There's a link, again, down in the description section if you're interested in signing up for that.
All right, we've got our Instagram winner for the week.
Yes.
Aaron's going to get that picture going.
Yes. Instagram picture of the week. Is it up on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. We really are enjoying the Instagram. If you want to get in on this, take a picture, whether it's with Townsend's merch or a historical picture or whatever, use the hashtag Townsend's. And you can also, to make it easier for us to see us, at tag Townsend's _official, so we can find that. But we pay pretty much attention to the hashtag, so that's the best way to do it.
This week's winner was Thomas Barreto, by the way.
Yeah,
Thank you, Thomas.
Barreto. Apparently, he uses our recipes. What historic site is he at?
You know what it said in that post? I don't remember what it said. Magnolia. I'm not sure.
Yes. What? Plantation?
Magnolia,
something like that. Anyway, thank you so much for, number one, watching our videos and utilizing the information we do and the episodes we do, and giving us, that picture and the hashtag. Thank you so much for that. Great. Ryan's going to DM you to get you connected with your prize.
Already did.
Man,
Ryan's on top of things around here. Let me tell you.
First time ever. So that's that.
You want to read that really cool letter that we got?
Yeah. So last week.
Before you do that,
yeah.
Somebody in the chat, it's not a donation, but somebody in the chat said you're looking very macaroni today.
Thank you.
That's some prophetic comments.
Man.
Yeah. So we're gonna be.
Stay tuned for Monday.
Stay tuned for Monday. Here we go. So we got this letter written on really nice thick paper. And written. It's written here. Great letter from Julia, Buffalo Grove, Illinois. And we do get the occasional letter besides, emails and other kinds of things. And I so enjoy, when people kind of reach out and connect with us this way. I'll just read a little bit of this. It's a good long letter, but 2 sections of it are really good. Here's the beginning. My name is Julia, and I just wanted to thank you for such an incredible YouTube channel and for making my weekend. I'm 23 years old, and I've been a fan of everyday history for a long time. Wars and important dates never interest me as much as the kinds of clothes people wore, the games they played, the food they ate. And then she goes down, she says, it's funny because I discovered your channel through a complete accident. My boyfriend and his friends who like football, video games, and East Coast comedy found out that the bar they were planning on going to was closed. So they took a boys' night home, and my nap was interrupted by the sound of them chanting, Townsend, Townsend. I got up to see what the fuss was about, and I thought I was dreaming when I saw these guys watching a video of someone in 18th century garb cooking cornbread. They projected your videos on the wall and were sitting around drinking beer and expressing amazement at the inventiveness of, I quote, old-timey people. She goes on, such a wonderful letter. She talks about, exploring the channel, and, we got a lot of a back catalog of content there. So there's a lot of watching to do to catch up with what we've been doing. But she's really enjoying the channel, and she wanted to reach out and connect with me and tell me this story because it is a good one. So thank you so much, Julia, for your wonderful letter.
The main event.
The main event. So you saw the picture. I posted it on my Instagram channel, not on yours. No way. Not. I posted it on the Townsend's Cooking Instagram channel, and it's lemon syllabub, and you can see them here. I don't know. You could. Here you go, lemon syllabub. This recipe is from the Complete Housewife. This is one of the cookbooks that we're printing now. This is a 1730 edition of Eliza Smith's The Complete Housewife. This is one of these cookbooks. This is probably the first cookbook that I had in the collection. So I'm really acquainted with this one. Been reading this cookbook for 15 years or so. Here we go. Page 154. To make a lemon syllabub, take a quart of cream. It's starting out good when you start out with a quart of cream. A quart of cream, half a pound of sugar, a pint of white wine, the juice of 2 or 3 lemons, the peel of 1 grated, so you want some zest. Mix all these and put them in an earthen pot. Milk it up as fast as you can till it is thick. Now, I was confused by that. I'm not sure what she means by that. I actually went back. I looked at, I dug up multiple editions of this to see if they corrected this. Was that mix it up, not milk it up, like it was messed up? They didn't seem to correct it in later editions, so I guess that's what it's supposed to mean there. Then pour it into your glasses, let them stand 5 or 6 hours. You may make them overnight. So I went ahead and pulled this one together. This one doesn't have any cooking to do. It's just mixing up these ingredients. I actually kind of squeezed I didn't want to make, like a giant gallon of this stuff. So I kind of halved this recipe. Actually, I think I 1/3'd it. Put these up. Instead of milking it up, as it says here, I put it in the blender. Don't tell anybody. I could have whisked it. I'm surprised it doesn't say whisk, but it doesn't. But anyway, I blended these guys up because I didn't want to stand there whisking it forever. And wow. I tasted it before I let them set. Now, letting them set, you kind of let all those flavors meld together. And so we're going to see. These guys have been setting in the refrigerator. I got a little lemon peel here. And, the recipe doesn't have it. But I think as a little topper, they just need a little bit of nutmeg sprinkled on top. And I think they think that's true too. got my nutmeg here. They don't have any choice because I fixed it. So there you go. Okay, I think this one's mine. It's got the most yummy nutmeg here on it. You want to come and get these? I made enough. Well, not quite enough for everyone in the room. They're gonna have to split one of these guys. There's that one. There's that one. And let's find out how they turned out. I am a big fan of lemon, so wow. So it's settled down in the fridge and has a tremendous flavor. I would say if I was going to give you a quick description of it, I would say imagine a really good lemon ice cream that melted, which I really enjoy melted ice cream, so. What? It's true.
It's like, what?
For the first time, they can watch us try it.
There you go.
I'd like some melted ice cream, please.
It's the only way to go.
Everyone who's watching is missing out.
Man.
I know.
It's a crying shame.
What'd you think, Aaron? Is it good?
Yeah, it's super good. Super good. I actually like it a lot better than the ones we made. Remember with Michael?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah,
A lot better. Yeah.
This is really good.
Yeah, quite tasty.
Yeah. So, I should.
$2 donation
Thank you.
from Joe says nutmeg exclamation point.
You know it.
Thanks, Joe.
Thank you.
Yeah. This one. See, I ran all my nutmeg goes in the top, and I don't know. The nutmeg might get lost with all that yummy lemon flavor in there. You know what? I was gonna have a picture of the recipe so that you guys could see it. I forgot it. Preparation. It's just terrible. So, Aaron or Ryan, you're the super taster.
The super taster.
Yeah. I put Ryan in the super taster category.
Yeah, me too.
What am I doing here?
So tell me what you think.
It is good.
Okay, no. Can you detect
Oh,
the wine in there?
no. I don't think so. The lemon is strong.
Yeah.
Lemon's strong. So it's hard to...
So he's still thinking. I can tell he's super tasty.
It's got some really, interesting flavors. It's really interesting.
Yeah, he's just trying.
He is not the super taster, that's for sure.
No. So one of the things I want to talk about in this recipe is the fact that when it comes to,
I got the wine.
there you go.
It's
You got
there.
It took a while.
It's there.
Okay.
You have to look past the lemon, folks.
Yeah.
Past the lemon.
Thank you, Mascarule, for $2.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just lemon emojis.
He knows.
Thank you.
So if you go digging in these cookbooks, this one is a great example. Hannah Glass, another great example. And you go through the drink section. And I don't know, modern cookbooks have a very big cooking or a drink section, but this one, like a lot of them, they've got quite a few drinks. Almost every single one of them has alcohol in it of one type or another. And I don't know. It's one of these things that you end up using wine and brandy and sack and all kinds of other things in 18th century cookbooks over and over and over again. And I don't think, we don't see that nearly as much in our cooking today. And part of that is, obviously I'm here in this North American context, right, in the United States. And there's this thing that happened, in the 19th century, this temperance movement that came through the United States, and it really affected cooking in the 19th century, in the 20th century, and it still lags over in our cooking that we don't use a lot of the alcohol that you would see in, say, 18th century English cooking, or probably even 18th century American cooking at the time. So I thought this, as I go digging through these, I always, I'm going to say, a bunch of people are going to ask me about a version of this that's non-alcoholic. This particular one, while it has the wine in it, again, even Ryan didn't think it was real high up on the flavor scale as part of the major components of taste here. So I think you could easily use a white grape juice in this circumstance, a sparkling grape juice, whatever. And it's going to make a great substitute in this particular recipe. Still going to turn out super good. But if you want to, zing it up a little bit, you could use the white wine, and it might, affect it a little bit for you. Excellent recipe. Had a lot of fun with this one, and really simple. So simple, really not really worthy to do a whole cooking episode for it. But one that you can try at home. And hey, it's 1730. It's a 280-year-old recipe right out of the books. Makes an excellent dessert, or this is really, really good. So, what do you think about questions, guys?
Well, before we go into questions, for folks that jumped on later, let's recap last weekend real quick. Let's do a little bit of housekeeping, and then I've got some YouTube stuff here that we should cover before we go into questions.
Excellent. So again, I really want to thank the folks. Last week we had a kind of a different schedule. We did our typical live stream that we do on Friday. We did it on Thursday instead because we were prepping for Saturday's live stream of the Jim's Red Pants folks. Their new album, the Whitby Abbey, which has the Vickers music, had a great time on Saturday. I really want to thank the folks that were in the live stream and the folks that came to the store. I don't know, there's probably 100 people in the store so great time. And really want to thank the Jim's Red Pants folks for both, doing this particular music, because I kind of sicked them on this set of music specifically, and they did such a great job of it. And they came and performed twice and for an hour, and it was a lot of fun.
These folks really made the pre-sale happen too. It was awesome.
Yeah.
We sold over 100 copies of that within a week, and
Yes.
that's a huge launch for Jim's Red Pants. So thank you so much for that.
Yes. Yeah. So thank you for supporting, and that, supporting them in that way is really important. That, for them to be able to do the kind of music that they do for us, it isn't necessarily easy. It isn't, well, anyway, they do such a great job, and I want to thank you for supporting them in that way.
Yeah. And so I was going through YouTube today, and I saw some stuff that caught my eye. Timothy Aldridge, he got a bottle of mushroom ketchup. He really enjoys it. I think that he's on the right track, because that stuff is awesome. And then, so there was this YouTube question. You were talking about temperance prohibition kind of taking alcohol out of
Cooking,
popular culture a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And then, with Kennedy, he didn't wear hats, so a lot of people stopped wearing hats. Somebody asked, was there a thing, an instance that happened where people stopped wearing wigs, or did it just kind of fall out of fashion? Do you know that?
Well, in general, I don't think wig wearing was as common in the 18th century in North America as it was in England. A really heavily fashion issue there. And in fact, it's even in North America, there are so many different segments of things happening in North America, or different sort of cultural pockets there. And so I think wigs may have been more popular in some areas than others. I don't know what kind of event kind of triggers the move out of wigs. I wish I had the answer for that, but I don't.
So also on YouTube, from the last video with Matt Dothit on talking about history beneath our parking lots, somebody commented on YouTube where actually in Philadelphia not too long ago they were breaking ground, taking up a parking lot to put a new condominium in, and they found some colonial era bodies. So that's pretty nuts. It's cool when people comment that stuff on the videos, so people start sharing stories and stuff. So thank you for sharing that. The last thing was they were wondering about how did they make printed fabric in the 18th century.
Well, I had an interesting conversation just, it was yesterday. We had some newspaper folks in the store, and we were talking about clothing, and they were, talking about how sort of drab clothing might be, or simplistic. And the reality is basically anything but that. Any kind, any kind of fancy fabric that we seem to have today, they had that and more. In fact, I think their clothing was probably much more colorful, maybe not fluorescent, but much more colorful than we would ever expect. And they had so many different ways of making these fabrics and different patterns. So right now I have on a block printed fabric, and block printing comes over. It was done, mostly the imported fabrics started coming over from India. They were being imported from India, where this particular print is an India print. And then later on, they start to emulate block printing in France and in England to reproduce that so that they didn't have to import it. But block printing is a really, really fascinating thing. You can find a lot of really interesting videos on YouTube if you type in India block printing or whatever, and you will see folks today still printing exactly the way they did it in the 18th century. They'd lay out the fabric on great big giant tables, and they would have, basically big ink pads and wooden blocks that had the designs carved in them, and they will, put the block down and hit it with their hand and then pick it up and, set it into the next spot and keep going. And if it's got multiple colors, they have to do that for each one. So they hand block print this fabric, still doing such an amazing job. So they had hand block printed things, but they also had like copper plate engraving, printing onto fabrics. So they had a lot of different ways that they could print onto fabrics. And they also did the same thing with weaving fabrics and putting designs in them, jacquard, weaving and all kinds of different things. Really, really tremendous things. Now, maybe the most common people didn't have these expensive fabrics, but they certainly were available, and they had amazing colors and really, really interesting designs. So all those things are available. So many different ways for them to do that. You would think, they're just doing simple things and they're only wearing brown. Isn't anything like that.
$2 from Betty C. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Betty.
Thank you, Betty. Hey, I just got a text from Hillary Wagner from Jim's Red Pants. She says, thank you for the kind words. She's thanking you for the support.
Thank you, Hillary.
All right, John, you ready for some questions?
I am ready.
All right, so could you use a Syllabub as a topping on a pastry?
Yes. It's kind of, it isn't really, really stiff. This doesn't have like egg whites in it or anything to get it super stiff, but it would fit on a pastry, I guess. Great for a little topping. You could probably do a multi-layer thing. So
I've seen this kind of thing on like crepes before.
Sure.
Thing, so.
Yeah. So that would work.
See, can you put some zest in the Syllabub too?
Well, the recipe did call for zest, so it says, I lost it now, but it actually has the zest of one lemon in it. I think that's where a lot of the really powerful flavor comes in. And in the 18th century, they were really big into using the peel. Sometimes that's the only thing they would use in the recipe, and it's like, oh, take the meat out, pitch it, and use the peel or whatever. So, yes, it's got a lot of zest in this.
This person says they're making Ecuadorian shrimp ceviche for dinner. Will the lemon Syllabub pair well with that?
I have no idea. But I would say yes.
Yeah.
Let's see here.
Citrus and seafood stuff.
Yeah.
Could you put the recipe in the description box, please?
I don't have a computer here, but I will do my. How am I gonna do that? You want to type it in, right? Or you want to send it over to Aaron to type it in?
Yeah, sure.
I can toss this to
Okay,
you.
be
Ready?
careful. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lots of equipment.
Woo!
We got it.
Is it Mark?
I think it's page 154. It's not a very long one, so.
Aaron, what do you think? I think Kyle's voice sounds extra manly today. I don't know what you think about that.
My voice always sounds extra manly. Always.
better give me the next question.
Yeah. Let's move on.
Will you be attending the CLA in Lexington, Kentucky this year?
CLA. No, not that I know
Did soldiers carry any spices with them, or did they just hunt around the camp for them?
I would say that in general, no. Even Joseph Lamartin talks about at one point running onto a barrel of salt, and he finds that it is, he like fills his pockets with it because it was so in demand. I really, really doubt that soldiers in general had any kind of spices except if they had just run onto them, and I'll bet they disappeared in a hurry. So even salt was in great demand.
How common was citrus in the 18th century?
We get a question about lemons and oranges quite frequently, and they show up in the 18th century English cookbooks over and over and over again. It was some of the most popular of all the ingredients show up just constantly. As far as North America, if you go digging in, it's a little bit harder to do the research for that. But if you go digging in the newspaper advertisements, again, lemons, oranges, they show up quite frequently in newspaper advertisements. So they were for sale. Now, were they really expensive? Quite likely. But they were certainly available in all the colonies along the East Coast, wherever they were getting things shipped into them.
I got a couple donations.
Great.
$5 from Dynamite Stick.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
When life gives you lemons, have Kyle give you manly voice.
Thank you so much, Dynamite
thanks.
Stick.
And then 20 euro from Rebecca 48215.
Thank you, Rebecca.
What job would you have wanted back in the 18th century?
What job would I have wanted? Well, I can look from this side and say, oh, I want this job. I'm not sure if I would have wanted that job if I was in the 18th century, but being somebody that was involved in shipping, actually being, on ships, whether a sailor or a, officer-y kind of person, maybe I don't want to be, the guy who climbs to the very top to, do the little tiny sail to the top, but I don't know. That sounds like fun, but, I enjoy so many of the, different kinds of trades, and so I would be hard to choose. If it were me, I would probably want to do one thing for 6 months and then move on and do something else because I'm that kind of a person.
It sounded like that body snatcher gig. It paid pretty well, right?
So you're like maybe up for that?
Yeah, it sounds like messy work, but it paid really well.
Yes,
So.
that it did. I'm not up for that. No, thank you. Medical supplies. Nope.
Some people are asking, how did they regulate and measure temperature while cooking?
Well, let me tell you, it's difficult. In particular circumstances, you'd have special fires built for that, and I'll bet you that if you have to do it day in, day out, every day, you get good at it. You'll find in certain circumstances where they'll use charcoal. If they want something that's very, very more easily regulated, or just building your fires out of very small sticks and constantly feeding it to keep your flames at just the right kind of level. But generally, cooking over the coals or charcoal is one of the ways you can get it to regulate a little bit, and also you've got opportunities. That's why even in our kitchen, I've got multiple S-hooks and trammel hooks to raise and lower the pots over the fire to regulate that. And basically, you just regulate your heat by moving your vessel away from the heat source. So those are the quick and easy ways.
This is what type of tool would they have used to grate citrus peel? Did they have microplane type utensils?
Oh, they wish.
Would they use a paring knife?
They're going to use a paring knife or a standard kind of punch grater like this guy, this little nutmeg grater, where you just punch holes through the tin and it leaves these sharp edges, and you just grind that off and then brush the it gets all stuck there, and then you have to brush it off into what you need. But paring knife, you can just slice it off and then chop it small, or you can kind of grind it off with a grater like these guys. And you'll see these show up. This is a tiny version, but larger ones that are mounted on a block of wood, and it's a half round piece of tin, and maybe this big or even larger for larger grating jobs.
What type of foods would you find on a ship besides the common ship biscuit?
You're going to have lots of salted beef, salted pork. They all the time on board ship. They quite frequently had livestock aboard. If you can imagine a ship with cows and sheep and pigs on board, chickens on board. So they had access to some of those, animals when they had that available to them. After, if you're going on a long cruise, those things are going to disappear as you go. They also had other kinds of dried things, dried peas, rice, some of those things that would be very easy to take on board ship, and you can turn them into a meal at any time. Raisins, if you want anything sweet, raisins were the main way. Kind of sugary things are on board ship. So those are some of the main things that you probably see show up all the time.
Hey, let's go back to look at that Instagram photo again real quick, Aaron. So, John, can you talk a little bit about what this contest kind of thing is one more time for the folks that are jumping on?
If you're interested in this Instagram contest, if you hashtag Townsend's and you've got a picture that is historically oriented, maybe it has Townsend's merch, maybe you got a mug or a t-shirt or something like that, or some other kind of Townsend product, or just something that's very historically based, maybe it has to do with food or cooking, whatever, go ahead, tag Townsend's on there. We'll go through the week's worth of Townsend's tagged things, and we'll pick out one in the week to give a prize to. And Ryan usually takes care of connecting with folks on that. But each week we'll pick out a picture. We'll show it here in the live stream, and keep going like that. Did I miss anything?
No, that's great. Thank you.
Let's see. Would common folk have had carriages or coaches to travel around in?
No, I don't think most common people are traveling by foot. I mean, you're going to see that like the main way of travel. Something simple like a book that I've already mentioned here today, the Joseph Plum Martin. He's a soldier, and he talks about, it's like, well, I've got to go, I'm going home on leave, and he's walking home. And so that's a real common way of traveling. At times there are, wagons or other things that are going from one location to another that are carrying goods, and people will go ahead and, catch rides and go from one place to another like that. There were probably a certain number of stages in the 18th century that are ways to, get transported from one area to another. But, and of course, many people are going to travel by horseback, depending on their station in life, whether they're rich or poor, right? So common people, they're probably going to walk many times unless they have a horse available to them so that they can ride.
How common were powdered wigs?
Well, I mean, in England, everybody's wearing a powdered wig in the 18th century. It's hard to say about the exact popularity of an item in the 18th century, because especially in North America, because there are all these different places. So you would probably find wigs more popular in, say, Virginia and the gentry than you would in, New England and people of that same station in life. But, those are generalities that is, you can easily be wrong about those when you get down to the specific cases. So were they common? Yes.
Do you know any waterproofing techniques for clothes that they used in the 17th or 18th century?
They're both waxing products with something like beeswax. They might even use something like suet if that's the only thing they have available to them. And of course, pitch and pine tar is the other main thing. You're going to find that on board ship all the time. They're using that to make all the ropes and everything waterproof. They're using pine tar. That comes in various different forms, whether it's fairly liquidy or a very stiff thing. Many times, if they're working with that, it's either heated up so it becomes very liquidy so that they can, basically paint it on things. Ooh, it is sticky, it is smelly, but it does the job. Besides that, there's also using linseed oil, which gives you the oilcloth situation, where if you put linseed oil, and especially when it's got something like the iron oxide filler in there with it, it makes an oil-based paint. Basically, what happens is that linseed oil oxidizes and turns into almost like a plastic. So those are the biggies.
This person says, I live in Nashua, New Hampshire. Are there many historical sites in New England I would love to visit? What would you recommend?
There are hundreds of great historic sites in New England, and it really depends on the kinds of things you're really interested in. Were you going to say something, Ryan?
No, they're all over the place.
Yeah. It's like I don't have one that just pops out of the top of my head for your area, but I'll bet in the comment section or in the chat, some folks will pop in with some historic sites in that region.
See, did they...
Is Strawberry Bank in that area?
I'm looking right now. That's one thing came to mind.
Go ahead.
Did they use eggplant in the 18th century?
I don't recall seeing very much of it in the cookbooks, but I believe that if you go look in the gardening books, you'll see it show up there. But I don't know about it being used in recipes. Nothing pops into my head for eggplant recipes, but I'm pretty sure they were using it in cooking.
Yeah, real quick, Strawberry Bank Museum is in Portsmouth, New Hampshire. So I've never been to New Hampshire. I don't know. I don't imagine it takes long to get. It's a fairly small state, but you should check that out. I've heard a lot of great things.
Yeah, there's a lot of great places out that direction. Let's see, is Old Sturbridge Village close by there?
There, yeah. I mean,
yep. I think it's in Massachusetts.
Going back to the waterproofing question.
Yes.
Somebody suggested oilcloth.
Yeah, oilcloth. That's you use the linseed oil and
have you ever waxed clothing? I've tried on several different occasions, and I haven't had a whole lot of luck in it because it dries, flakes off, and I can't get it to really soak in like it's supposed to. You know,
gotta heat up the fabric,
okay,
so that it soaks in.
Do you boil it first? Like, how do you heat up the fabric?
You chuck it in the oven.
Oh, okay.
And you could probably use a hairdryer.
I threw it in the dryer actually to heat it up,
dryer.
and it still didn't.
I don't think I would do that.
Okay.
I wouldn't. Don't do that.
Don't do what I did, folks.
Don't do what he does.
An interesting question. What mentality or approach to life from the 17th or 18th century do you think the modern world could benefit from?
It's, I think, in some ways, almost impossible for us to get into the minds of folks in the 17th and 18th century and understand it. I mean, there's a reason why it is very cross-cultural. Is sort of it's hard for us to get our modern mind into that kind of mindset. And so, you repeat the question again.
Oh, I lost it. Oh, where is it at?
Yeah, now it's gone forever.
It's gone.
That we could benefit from.
Yeah.
Well, I don't think in general they were complainers, but because they didn't have any choice. And I think we could benefit from that. And I think there were a lot of people that were willing to risk a lot. Now, I was just having this conversation. I don't know who it was with. I think it was over the weekend. with the idea that they were willing to risk a lot for different reasons than we might expect. And I think one of the reasons is that they were more accustomed to people dying, especially parents and we really protect our children. We worry a lot about our children, and I know they were just as caring about their children in the 18th century and worried about them. But no matter what you did, childhood disease took a lot of people, and so I think there was a certain amount of willing to risk things that we would not be willing to risk today, because they knew that bad things happen and there was nothing they could do about it. So they were willing to risk more in that way. So whether it's going out onto the frontier or even traveling, we think about, it's so dangerous going out in the frontier. It was dangerous coming to North America, just going, spending all that time in the sailing ships, and people died all the time on the trip over. So they did that without, well, they didn't have any choice, but I think they did. Today we probably just wouldn't go, right? But they made those decisions for a lot of different reasons than we can't kind of get our heads around today. So that's one of the reasons why I think it's really important to study this history, to kind of understand what they had, what they didn't have, and what kind of decisions they made with those things, to help us understand, what we're missing, what we could get from that. I think there's a lot we could get from that. There are some things that if we looked back on it, though, we would say, that is inhumane, or that is, the worst thing ever. And I read about that stuff all the time, things that I definitely want to leave in the 18th century.
Let me do a donation real quick. €10 from Rebecca 48215. I'm pretty sure she donated earlier. If so, thank you.
Thank you, Rebecca.
Thank you, Rebecca.
So I got a question that says, what is that poster in the background?
Nothing.
It's nothing.
Let's see. John, could you let us know when there are any reenactments coming up?
There are reenactments that happen every weekend, and when it gets to be a little closer to spring, probably 4 and 5 and 10 all around the country. I don't have a good way of pointing out a lot of them. I can try a little bit more, maybe even in the live stream. Maybe that's a thing we want to try to maybe highlight different. Are you guys listening? They're doing something else. Maybe that's something we could try to highlight, particular events that are happening. Maybe it would be kind of like the Instagram picture of the week. Maybe we should have an event of the week. It sounds like a really interesting concept. Now they're paying attention to me.
I was looking in this here book for the recipe.
You still haven't found it?
No, well, Aaron doesn't have. He's not able to throw that in there right now. So let's recap.
Okay. We'll cover this again. I'll read it really slow for you. Was it on 154?
Well, that was the problem. I didn't know what page number.
Yeah, right here. 154. To make lemon syllabubs, and really, I've eaten the whole thing, and they're really good. But I like lemon ice cream, so what can I say? Along with Parmesan ice cream, take a quart of cream, half a pound of sugar, a pint of white wine, and the juice of 2 or 3 lemons, and the peel of 1 grated. So you want the zest from 1 lemon. Mix all these and put them in an earthen pot. And probably you put them in an earthen pot because you don't want any metal to react with that and bring that in with the acids of the lemon. So it says put it in an earthen pot, and then it says milk it as fast as you can. put it in your blender till it is thick. Then pour it out into your glasses and let it stand 5 or 6 hours. You may make them overnight, so they're a good thing to leave in our modern context, in the refrigerator overnight or for 6 or 8 hours. Lets those flavors all melt. So to run through the ingredients: a quart of cream, half pound of sugar, a pint of white wine, or you could use like white lemon juice, the juice of 2 or 3 lemons, the zest from 1 lemon. Mix it all up. Don't forget to put the nutmeg on at the end.
Hey, so we talk about Patreon in here a lot. Let's talk about what Patreon is and how it works for the folks that aren't aware of that.
Yeah, Patreon is one of those sites that, unless you're familiar with it, you're like, what is he talking about? Patreon is a site where if creators of product or projects, videos and other kinds of things, music, they get it's a way to support them basically consistently with a small amount. So Patreon is set up that you can basically donate any amount you want to a particular creator, and it takes that amount away, it charges you like once a month that amount. So some people just sign up for like $1, so $1 a month, and at the end of each month they collect those funds, and then we get those. It's just a really interesting way to consistently support somebody instead of just a kind of a bulk sum all up front. And you can go and check out the Patreon link. I think we've got 2 different levels. Again, you can choose any amount you want, whether it's $1 or $2. I think we've got a $2 level and a $5 level. But again, you can support us any way you like. And a few people support us, are very kind to support us in higher levels than that. So if you really want to help us do what we want to do, and boy, we've got so much that we really would like to be able to do in the future. It's just very difficult to do it with what we have available to us. But I've got big eyes. It's like going to the buffet. I want to fill my plate up with really cool videos to do, but I can only afford to do so many. But the folks who support us on Patreon really help out with that.
All right, we're just going to recap the housekeeping stuff,
right,
and probably go on out where it's about time.
Thank you guys for we had super chat donations. Thank you for supporting us that way. Again, I want to thank Hillary and Rick, who helped us with the live stream. They did such a tremendous job on this music, and they did a great job in the live stream, the 2 live streams that we did on Saturday. We had so much fun, and I really want to thank them for making this kind of music available to us. It is so difficult to find just the right music for your videos. They do such a tremendous job, so I want to thank them for that. And all you folks that participated in the live stream and the live streams on Saturday, or if you came in the store, we had I had a lot of fun talking with the different folks. Julia, thank you for the letter. She did a great, funny letter, so I want to thank Julia and all the great. Were you going to say something, Ryan?
I just want to make sure we talk about email subscriptions one more time.
Yeah, if you're interested in the things we offer on our website, and a lot of things we offer on our website, they aren't there consistently for a long term because they're difficult to get a hold of, or they come and they go, or people make small batches. So to find out about those kind of products that are here and gone again, or special sales, sign up for the email list on our website. There's a link down in the description section. If you just go to the main page, there's a big old picture of me. Am I walking through the snow with Sophie? And if you just click that main image, it'll take you right to where you can sign up for that email. Those are a lot of fun, and they just happen like once or twice a week. Nice little, simple, doesn't take long kind of emails. What else was there, Ryan?
It was just oh gosh, hang on. I just had 2 pop up as I. So I had a $1 donation from Appalachian Viking.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you.
$5 donation from XA.
Okay.
$5. Thank you.
Thank you very
so
much.
much. And then another donation from Rebecca. Thank
Rebecca.
you so much. €20.
You're
Thank
back
you,
again.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Appreciate it.
Rebecca,
Very kind.
for supporting us that way. Again, I also want to thank Aaron and Kyle and Ryan for doing the great job behind the camera. You can see them
Wave,
back there
everybody.
working hard, or something like that.
Hi, Mom.
And I want to thank all you guys out there in YouTube land. You do such an amazing job, watching the videos, commenting on the videos, again, we've got the best comment section on YouTube. I'm sure of it. So thank you so much for that. You support us in so many different ways, like sharing the videos. Wow. We just crossed over 450,000 subscribers on the channel.
Thank you,
Let's
guys.
go.
Because of you.
Let's go.
So thank you. So yeah, we got to get to 1 million. There's only one way to get
I
there.
want that new plaque.
Yeah, the
Sick of the
silver
silver
one
one.
isn't good enough.
Sick of it. I hate this silver plaque.
So thank you for all you do, and thanks for watching.